What's your, "oh fuck, I am an asshole" moment? When I realized the reason I've lost so many friends is that I'm so shitty at getting back to people. "What's your name?" I asked. Shara. Trying to be playful. "Oh cool, like, Sarah with a lisp." "I have a lisp. My name is Sarah." Oof. I was drunk at a pub and shouted for the band to play Free Bird. They stopped in the middle of the song they were playing, started up Free Bird and called me up on stage to sing it. I froze, forgot all the lyrics and made an absolute ass of myself. Props to that band though. Posting on Reddit sometimes makes me reread my shit and realize I'm being an asshole. I don't do it on purpose, but I think years of reading and writing posts on the internet has tainted my tone. I blamed my fart on a mentally challenged boy in 5th grade. I was in the army, making fun of a guy, said he couldn't even get a medal for something in the Special Olympics. He then pointed out his daughter was in the Special Olympics. I profusely apologized, and he accepted, but it still keeps me awake at night. I was making fun of an old guy I'd seen outside our school at a basketball tournament to some friends in the locker room. He looked and talked like Farmer Fran from The Waterboy. Turned out to be the dad of one of the guys I was talking to. Still can't even think of that movie without it bringing up endless amounts of shame. I developed a pretty serious drinking problem, and in one day everyone finally had enough. I got fired, kicked out of my apartment, disowned by my friends and my family. I was left utterly alone, and homeless, with $2,000, and a 1986 Volvo station wagon. It was coordinated between everyone in my life, and it fucking hurt. But I wouldn't take any of it back for the world. Things are far better now, but that was the sort of life event that is supposed to change you, and I let it do so for the better. In early high school, late 90s, so if you got a girl's number it was the house number. I called a girl's house and her dad answered. She was out, but I noticed his speech was a bit slow and slurred. Next day at school I mentioned I had called, and asked if her dad had been drinking. Well, turns out he didn't drink much since his stroke. Still feel awful about that. I was driving down a road and a lot of people were honking and yelling at me on the street. I got angry and flipped a bunch of people off and honked back. At the end of the street I saw a one-way sign and realized I was going in the wrong direction. 8th grade. Speech class. A kid had been absent a few days, and when he came back, I started razzing him a bit. We were friendly, but not friends, so I felt okay kidding around, claiming he was just pretending to be sick to get out of class, that sort of thing. Nothing really mean, though. He took it for a bit, then turned, looked me dead in the eyes, and said in the flattest voice, "No, my mother died," and turned back around. If God had struck me dead with a bolt of lightning, when I stood before him at the pearly gates, I'd have said, "Yeah, fair enough." For years I used the same thing happened to me line whenever someone opened up to me. Instead of just shutting up and listening to them. But yeah, working on it. Someone I hadn't talked to in years came up to me and started telling me about how they haven't been doing that good lately and that they found out they have cancer. Well, I was at work and only half paying attention, so after he stopped talking I said, "That's good." Haven't seen him since. Years ago I went into a hot topic and as I was at the register, the girl working started telling me about all the new Metallica shirts they had gotten. For some reason, I told her I wasn't really into wearing band shirts anymore, which was mostly true, and even though I didn't mean to, it came out sounding really snobbish. At the time, I thought her reaction was kinda strange, even accounting for my accidental condescension. Shortly after I left the store I remembered I was wearing a Nin shirt. I told my friend that she shouldn't use medication for her mental illness because I was convinced she could just use sheer will to get through it. It was an asshole move to make her second guess getting professional help to address her mental health issues. I wish I'd just instead offered support instead of trying to fix it. When she mentioned the side effects, when I had no idea what I was talking about. This was when I was a teenager and thought I knew everything. My friend group tried to stay close after high school, but we all fell out of touch as you do as everyone forged their own path in life. Well, mine led me down a path of depression, anxiety, and failure. so every year or so they would hold a get-together to reconnect and hang out. I attended a couple of these, but as time went on and my downward spiral got worse, I stopped responding to calls, texts, invites, etc. because I thought that no one would want to hang out with this version of me. I was invited to 2 weddings which I didn't even respond to because of this negative loop, and then when my best friend from that group was diagnosed with cancer, I couldn't even bring myself to face him. I tried to go to his funeral but couldn't enter the building because I felt that I didn't deserve to be there. Finally, a few months ago, the parents of one of my friends saw me at work and wanted to talk to me. They told me that my friend group was really broken up, that I ignored all of their attempts to reach out to me. It was then that I realized that in all of my stress about being miserable to be around, I had become an asshole to those who tried to care about me. One day while I was walking on the street, some kids kicked a ball in my direction. I was going to pass it back, but I thought one of the kids closer would just get it. I decided to keep walking. I looked back at the kid and I could see the look of disappointment on his face. I felt like biggest asshole on the planet for a few days. I still feel bad thinking about it. Broke up with my first girlfriend who was really attached to me, just by ignoring her. I feel so bad. I was just a kid, but that was a harsh treatment. Every time my kid asks to try what I'm eating, I always say it's spicy and he won't like it, so I don't have to share. Told a girl I liked her accent and asked her where she was from. She told me she had a speech impediment.